I'm Al John Go, product manager for Epiphone, and we'd like to welcome you. And please make a big, warm round of applause for the excellent pick thrower and rock and roll legend, Rick Nielsen.
All right, settle down.
First of all, Rick, thank you so much for joining us. But I have to geek out for a second because I am.
You look geeky enough already.
Well, thanks, appreciate that. But what I was going to say is I stole everything about my shtick from you.
You're still working?
I am.
All right.
I am. But as a, I tell you, the outrageous guitars, the
So
style,
you stole my guitars?
I did, actually. Right. You came down to the custom shop, and I said, oops, there you go. I had an opportunity to take it, and I did.
I wondered where those 500 went.
But Rick, how you doing?
I'm doing fair to partly cloudy. Happy to be here.
Oh, I'd love to have you here.
I turned 70 years old, so now I get free Gibsons now.
Well, look here. Happy birthday.
Not really, but.
Sagittarius, Rick Nielsen, happy birthday to you.
Is that December 22nd?
That's Sagittarius, yeah?
I don't know.
Well, I'm a Sagittarius, too. That's another thing we have in common. But
really, when's your birthday?
December 3rd.
That's my mother's birthday.
Is it really?
You don't look like my mother.
No. But you know what? I do have this coconut thing about me, so.
Coconut?
Yeah. It's a little wild. But anyway, so, Rick, in your years of playing and everything, what inspired you to actually pick up the guitar for the first time?
Well, I'm a songwriter, but I love guitars. Everybody in this room plays better than me, twice as good as me probably, but I'm a songwriter, but I love guitars. And I started collecting in about 1964. In 1965, I bought my first Gibson Les Paul. It was a 1955 Les Paul. I paid $65 for it in 65. It was a gold top, and I still have it today.
So that's
my first one.
That's your first one, but that said,
now I have 85 Gibson Les Pauls.
The vault is real, y'all. The vault is real. This legendary vault, your collection.
Vault?
Right.
That sounds like one vault.
Vaults.
I bought the very first Gibson prototype safe they had, and which opened the hinge on the left side. And I said, to keep my insurance rates down, I said I needed another one for most expensive stuff. And I didn't want them both to have the hinges on the same side. They said, we can't do that. I said, well, then I'm going to have to get one of your safes and turn it upside down. So my safes opened like this. And so they made me, so I got the very last Gibson safe, too.
Wow. So
I laid on the floor and pounded my fists until they let me do it.
So how many guitars now?
I own about 500.
Hey, y'all.
But they're not all great.
Well, 500, you know what we say, there's always room for one more.
Oh, yeah. What do you think I'm doing here?
Yeah, right.
I'll take that row. It's like a Chinese restaurant. I'll take A.
Oh, no. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I mean, a belated birthday gift, obviously.
Thank you.
Right? Absolutely.
Hey,
custom shop. Let's
birthday?
make that happen. Can we make that happen? Let's make it happen today. So, you know what? You're renowned for your pick throwing.
Well, I know that guy. He owes me money.
Oh, he owes you money. I was going to say, so what are some pro tips from the world-renowned
Don't do what I do and don't look like him.
So we have 5 guitars. So that's one.
I have a couple of original Explorers 58s. Those are pretty rare too, and I'm with the original cases. And I have a 58 Flying V, 59 Flying V was owned by Lonnie Mack, and my gold top, and I can't pick. It's either one, none, or 500.
Well, see, that's what I was going to say, because it's like choosing among your children, right?
Oh, you can have all of them.
So one of the ones, I met you initially about 8 years ago at the
So you've been
shop.
doing this shtick for only 8 years?
Oh, I've been doing it for a long time, but for when we met at the custom shop and we talked about your guitar collection and we talked about your burst that you play on, I want you to want me.
Is that you? Oh, great,
yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, right? Not too bad, but tell us a little bit about that guitar and its history, because you had me hold the guitar, and it was like the holy grail of guitars,
Yeah, for a guy that can't play guitar like me, I needed all the help I could get. It's like the guitars really do make the difference. I mean, when parents used to buy their kids these $39 guitars, Once in a while, those 39 guitars are great, but most of the time they're pretty crummy. So when you get one that feels good in your hands, it's not for everybody. We've toured with everybody. I played with Alice Cooper. I played with Def Leppard, and, Journey, and everybody around that has guitars, and they always have these guitars that are impossible to play, and it's like I need all the help I can get.
Well, I tell you, your style. I love
my style.
I love Rick's playing. Who here out there loves his style?
Perry, security.
Well, it's not just about his playing style, but also his fashion style. So where did that develop? Yeah, there you go. Look at that. I mean, give it up for the jacket.
Do you know what people say behind my back? What an ass.
Well, how about that? So where? Yeah, exactly. The shoes too.
See my underwear?
So where does that come from?
I never wanted to be anybody else, and I don't have a package like Jimmy Page or Keith Richards, and I didn't want to put a cucumber down my pants, and I was never going to look like those guys, and I never want I idolize them, but I don't want to be any of them. I don't think I want to be me either, but it's a little too late for that.
Well, so how does it feel when younger artists look at Cheap Trick and look at you just as not just an excellent guitar player, but great personality, having this unique style, and they try to emulate you?
I don't think they've seen anybody as old as Abraham Lincoln. It's a joke.
Right. Yeah, you can applaud. Go ahead and give it up.
Don't.
Yeah, you can laugh. But okay.
You can.
So getting back to it. All right. The singer, songwriter, and you. Yeah. Obviously, the songs are iconic. The riffs are great. They're iconic. But where does this inspiration for these great tunes that have stood the test of time come from?
Half reality and half National Enquirer.
Is that right? So you go down and get your tabloid?
Well, when you're starting out at 15 or 16, you really don't have any sort of life anyhow. And so you have to make up stuff. So I had to make up stuff my whole life. I never planned on being this good looking.
Well, so that said, you're writing these riffs, you're writing these iconic songs. Do the experience?
I've got 350 songs that you never heard.
Well, and so the vault of
just
guitars,
a couple I struck gold with.
Well, so the vault of material that you're coming up with, is there any chance that us fans are going to be able to experience all of those songs that you have yet to release, because your library is prolific?
Probably not.
Who wants to hear his songs? I mean, look, right there. A national treasure.
I had dinner with him.
Right?
I did.
Right?
I bought too.
The music, you put it down on tape, you record it digitally, you have your phone out, whatever it is. Surely there's got to be a record of all of that stuff that.
Yeah, I do. I have 4 warehouses full of that stuff, and if I live to be a million, I'll still have stuff to do.
Yeah, well, I'm
never bored, but I took all the mirrors out of. I took all the mirrors out of my house because. Have you ever seen a 70-year-old man naked? You don't want to.
Here, how about some water? Would you like some water?
Well, that'll help me look good.
Oh yeah, we might hydrate a little bit. It's all good. We'll take care of you. So, being the
I don't wear a catheter either. So.
No, well that's good to know, because we'll have to get a mop or something. But
you said you were going to emulate me. I don't wear a catheter. You got to take yours off.
I got to get. We'll do that backstage later. But so let's go back to your guitars, your guitar collection.
What, are you trying to heist my stuff?
I am. Okay. I'm gonna, you're not looking. I'm gonna go back there and take it. But with your guitar collection, how does one take care of a collection that large?
Well, I wore my shirt because my best guitar tech, Larry, he died last year on the road, and it was like, I haven't tuned a guitar in 40 years. So I don't know what the hell to do anyhow.
Well, I also met Larry, and once again, just amazing. Yeah, you see.
Hey, they just
clean up on aisle 12,
man.
Clean up on aisle 12. But I mean, what a great guy. I mean, he's your right-hand man.
Well, no longer.
Yeah.
But he used to work with George Benson, and he said, "Here you go, George." An hour later, I'll see you in an hour. And you come back, and a guitar. Then he started working for me, and about killed him. Wait a minute, it did kill him. But he was a great guy. He fixed a lot of my amps, built guitars for me. Miss him. Now I got Rocky back with me. Rocky was the guy that introduced me to, and Rocky's worked with Jeff Beck, and I couldn't even, never mind.
Well, well, we'll give him props because, just meeting those guys were just tremendous salt to the earth guys.
They do all the work. I just get all the people that look like you.
Hey, man, I'm trying. So the guitar collection, just going back to it and your iconic guitar collection, if you're really like trying to say something to all these aspiring guitar players and guitar players out there, what are some of the pro tips to collecting guitars? What are some of the things that you're looking for in terms of guitar collecting?
Buy low, sell high. You got to get stuff that you like. I mean, if you buy artwork or you buy guitars, you got to get stuff you like. I bought guitars that I paid $65 for, and they're worth $20,000 or $30,000 supposedly. But I never bought them like that. And I bought guitars I paid $200 for, and now they're worth $100. I think I've done about equal to that. But you got to get stuff you like. I bought some artwork. If it doesn't, if you think you're trying to do it as an investment, you're probably pretty lame. Like betting on the stock market lately.
What's it like?
Oh, and plus about collecting. Make sure you get insurance, but have a high deductible.
I get it.
It's true. I have my guitars are insured for $5,000 up, because if somebody steals something that's worth $4,999, you're paying the replacement cost. I'd never pay that kind of money for this stuff anyhow. Plus, when I die, my wife will sell all my guitars for $1 each. So stick around.
I tell you what we can do is, if you feel comfortable with this, we'll ask a few more questions. But if you have a question for Rick, please come forward.
I'm uncomfortable with your questions.
If you have a question for Rick, and you just come up to the front, and we'll have you ask a question or two to this legend here.
Hey.
So, do you have a question for Rick? All right, go for it.
There's a guy that owns one of my guitars. Get him.
How about that? Okay, so this gentleman right here has got a question for you.
Rick, when you worked with John Lennon, did you have?
Oh, me. Oh, sorry. Again. What?
Go ahead.
Rick, when you worked with John Lennon, did you ask him for an autograph, or was that?
No, I didn't. I didn't ask him for an autograph. We hung out together. We were going to go guitar shopping, and as I called him John, I didn't call. Bunny called him Mr. Lennon. I called him John. And I was going to take him guitar shopping because I get to the studio and he had the Rickenbacker with the Shea Stadium set list on tape to his Rickenbacker, and he also had a Vallejo guitar with rusty strings on it. I said, Mark Bolan plays one of those, and so does Mark Farner. I said, you're John Lennon. You don't need that stuff. I said, everybody must tell you yes, John, like they do Steven Tyler and Vivian Campbell. Yes, John, yes. I said, I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you, let's go get a guitar together. So and I left him one of my guitars. I left him my Telecaster with a string bender on it because he'd never seen one of those. And I got it 3 years later after he was murdered from Yoko. And actually, Yoko's nice to me. Have you ever heard that?
Do you have another question for Rick? This is the gentleman right here in the front. What's your name? Where you're from?
My name's Ed. I'm from Santa Margarita. Hey, Rick, how you doing?
How you doing? Ted Nugent? What?
No.
Hey, Vivian Campbell.
Not even close. Listen, what kind of advice would you give to up-and-coming guitar players? Because in our day, what we did is we took the record player and we played that thing over and over again.
What's a record player?
Yeah, exactly. Now they have YouTube where they get taught, note for note.
I don't know. I still can't read music. I can sort of, but I did the same thing. I used to listen to records and it's like, man, now that I know how the Rolling Stones song goes like this, and that 40 years later I watch it on YouTube. I've been playing it wrong for 45 years. Don't go by what I know.
Right on. You have another question for Rick? This gentleman right here?
I don't know if did I ever answer any of these questions?
Oh, no, you're doing great.
I'm just looking at all these good-looking people here. I mean, good-looking guitars.
What's your name and where you're from, buddy?
Hello, I'm Eric Johnson, not
Eric.
that Eric Johnson.
Hey, Eric.
From Boise, Idaho.
Boise Ugly.
My next door neighbor is Noble Holt, who you met a few weeks ago at the guitar seminar.
Uh-huh.
And I saw you in Boise a few weeks ago. I have to wonder, how many guitar picks do you go through in a show?
None of your business. I don't know. I order 60,000 at a time. And I have to order a couple times a year. So it's like, for the first 5 years of my career, everybody thought my name was Fender.
Another question for Rick.
How's it going, Rick?
What's your name and where you from, buddy?
My name's Adam. I'm from Corona, California.
All right.
Ah,
So,
I used to drink Corona.
cool. My question is.
I quit drinking 18 years ago. God, am I thirsty.
Well, my question is, after like that whole thing that happened in Canada like a few years ago.
Oh, thanks a lot, you Canadians.
I'm
About
sorry.
trying to kill us. Yeah.
Do you still bring out the original like Explorer checkerboard, or do you have a copy?
What do you think? I'm new?
I don't-
I'm not like some of those bands that they saw the guitars halfway and then still can't break them. Yeah, I bring out stuff, and because I like this stuff. We have two sets of gear. We have 30 in the A rig and 30 in the B rig. So we have a semi on the West Coast, semi on the East Coast, so we can play back to back because we're too dumb to turn down shows. So like this week, Friday, I leave here and take the red eye to Miami to play there. Last week we were in Chicago, Detroit, Windsor, back to Detroit, to Buffalo, to Niagara Falls, there's a Viagra Falls, and then back there, then we flew to Washington, D.C., then flew down to New Orleans, and we played for the opening of the playoff game for 40,000 people. They thought Kool and the Gang was coming there.
That's awesome. We have time for one more question for the legendary Rick Nielsen. Sir, this gentleman right here.
Where's Vivian?
Who are you? Where
See
you
him?
from?
Come on,
Vivian.
Hi,
You know who plays a Gibson
Vivian,
Rick
did you
Nielsen
wa-
model? Hey, wait a minute. Hitler rally.
Okay, go ahead. Ask your question.
Hey, Rick, my name is Steve, and I currently live in Utah, and I grew up and cut my teeth listening to you play back in the
Look at my teeth.
70s. And my big question is, who are some of your early influences that really
Chuck
got
Berry,
you?
Bo Diddley, Del Shannon, Freddie Cannon, the Shirelles, Dwayne Eddy.
Because
Dwayne Eddy sent me an autograph.
Because when I hear you playing, I hear some really amazing blues being played in your guitar riffs, and it just
I steal them all. I stole. If you know any of our songs,
Sure.
there's a song called "Top of the World." I stole that from Peter Gunn.
Oh, wow. do us a favor, Rick. Don't stop doing what you're doing, buddy. You do a great
I'm too
job.
dumb
at
to-
it.
I'm too dumb
And
to
you
quit.
are. You just keep doing what you're doing, man. We love you.
Hey,
love you,
we
Rick.
got
Hold on, Vivian.
Vivian Campbell. Come on up, Vivian. Come on, get your ass up here. We've been playing with Def Leppard for years, and he was such a nut. He bought a Rick Nielsen model. I guess he had to refret it though.
I tell you what, this is going to be an epic photo op, so get your picture, your cameras ready. Ladies and gentlemen, Vivian Campbell. Yeah.
How's it going?
Hello, Vivian.
Hi, Rick. I haven't
just
seen
played
you in
with
a week or two.
Yeah, we just finished a tour of England and Ireland and Scotland.
And it's not the same, is it? The UK's in a hot mess because we left them.
They loved us.
They're talking about Brexit or something?
I never stayed to see what you guys did.
Absolutely. Well, do we
I get the
want
heist
to make this a trio for a second? We do a couple more.
I'll be Jimi Hendrix. Which one are you?
Oh well, I don't. Don Ho. I mean, I kind of look like him. So, well, thank you for joining us, Viv. I tell you, why don't we take a couple more questions from the audience?
Vivian's sick, so make sure
now we
there's
got the
sick
all-star
questions.
panel over here. Who's got a question for Rick or Vivian? Anyone? Someone in the audience? This gentleman. What? Someone's got someone over here.
Did I hear how tall is the Duke of Kent?
Raise your hand if you got a question. Raise your hand if you got
Okay,
a question.
no questions.
In the
See you
meantime,
later. Thank you.
In the meantime, I have to tell you guys have been on tour. I've caught you both on tour together, and what's it like on the road, going up and down the road together? Just going up the road, down the road together. You have any stories, crazy stories from the road that you can share with us?
Joe Elliott's got a big, huge song list.
He's got a big, huge CD collection. It's always a lot more enjoyable when you're on tour with people that you like. Not only whose music you'll respect. I mean, we're all big fans of Cheap Trick, but they're genuinely wonderful human beings, as are their crew.
Okay, that's enough,
I know
Vivian.
they're hiding here somewhere.
I think you do have a fever, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Delirious. So with Leopard, we try and make it a very low pressure environment backstage, and we kind of try to enjoy the process and enjoy the work, and it's genuinely nice to be with professionals and good people, and we've toured many times with Cheap Trick, and it's always been a pleasure.
I guess the question I would have from the both of you is, have you ever collaborated in just songwriting together just on the road?
Hell no.
All right.
I don't know.
So Rick, do you have any stories about Vivian you can tell that Vivian would approve of?
We've toured together, Australia, a number of years, and like I said, we got to the show, and Vivian's playing one of my guitars. Yes. Tell us about that, Vivian.
Well, Rick has a few guitars, so I've borrowed a couple on occasion, and
you're getting one that I'm having made for you.
Really?
Well, after today's interview, of course I am.
There you go. Rick has a few guitars, and
Joe's been to my house. You never showed up.
I don't have your address.
You're not going to get it now.
No. Anyway, I did steal a couple of Rick's guitars, but he noticed and I had to give them back.
Yeah. And I got to play a bunch of the old Def Leppard stuff that was been somebody's been hiding for 30 or 40 years. I saw that at the end of the last tour.
Oh, yeah? Well,
they wouldn't let you touch them, but...
All right, so we got one more question. We got maybe one or two more? Yes.
Hey, guys, this is a really serious question here. Rock and roll is dead.
Fuck you.
That's not my opinion. That's not my opinion. But what do you tell kids that want to make a career in music, in rock and roll? There's no money in it any longer. What do you tell them?
Well, you got to do it for the right reason. You got to do it for the love of it, and eventually you'll find a way to make money out of it.
I think Vivian and myself is like, we're musicians. We're supposed to be poor. It just didn't work out that way. And my kids, my youngest son, he was a straight A student, sent him to college. He was on the 2 National Honor Societies. And says,
you give it up,
after
right?
the first year, I want to quit. I'm just going to kill him. But if you want to be a musician, you got to do it for the love of what you do. I mean, it's like, I see Vivian more than I see my wife, and I'm starting to get eyes on her.
So, new things on the horizon, okay? Now, Vivian, you had a custom shop signature guitar that
and
was
a Rick
released,
Nielsen guitar,
right?
Yes. Oh, I have a Rick Nielsen guitar.
You got a Rick Nielsen guitar.
Custom shop guitar. It is a beautiful guitar. I had to change the frets from those little skinny things, but
disgruntled customer.
But it is a genuinely fantastic guitar. I love it.
Right.
But yes, I did. Custom shop guitar came out early last year. That turned out very well, thanks to Philip and the guys at Custom Shop.
And you just happen to have a new guitar on the horizon, too.
Do indeed, yes.
Hey, wait a minute. I just invited you up here. Get your ass up.
Okay, sorry. I'll be back later.
Oh, no.
I'm here all week.
No. Yeah. Well, tell us about that new guitar that's coming out soon.
It's a new old guitar. It's Epiphone are doing a version of 72987-537, which was my original Dio.
That's the year is it born?
No.
1797?
It's I bought it when I was 15. It was a wine red deluxe. I had ordered a gold standard. I took emery paper to it, sandpaper to it that night. Rory Gallagher was my first guitar hero.
love Rory.
And I never liked shiny guitars as a result of that. So I took sandpaper to this Les Paul when I got home that night. And about a week or two later, I took it to a guy in Belfast and asked him to repaint it dull matte black. And then I changed out all the hardware, the machine heads, the nut, the frets, the pickups, everything about it. And that was a guitar I did the Holy Diver album and tour with Ronnie. And I now, it's been in storage for many, many years. And I only ever play it when I go out and do shows with Last in Line, which is remnants of the Dio band. And So anyway, yes, Epiphone have the prototype over there, which
Yeah,
I just
there
saw
it is.
last night for the first time.
That's right.
So we got to get the pickups sorted out, but other than that,
Get Rick
Yeah,
Nielsen pickups.
we're gonna flip flop them, but yeah, absolutely. Well, that's great. Well, thank you for that. And on the horizon, new for Rick, you are a road warrior, being out there all the time, playing shows. What's on the horizon for you? And the band is on the tour,
Let's see.
getting on tour.
I hope to die on tour.
well, you're doing a good job of it.
Yeah. Excuse me, security. Motherfucker. Let's see. No, we'd like
So
to
you're
play.
not band dinner tonight, then? No.
No, we're too dumb to quit. And we just got. We finally played at the Cavern Club.
Yes, you did.
We played at Cavern Club.
month.
We played Liverpool with these guys the night before. It was only about 25,000, and the next night, 300. But we sold ours out.
Congratulations.
And so we're all over. We just finished another album. Even if companies don't want to hear it. I mean, luckily, Cheap Trick, we've never progressed, which is perfect. Once in a while we get these fancy producers that want to put a keyboard on there or something. And so after we cry about it and let them do it, and then they quit the business, we're still in it. All the managers I've had I've sued and lost, but we don't have them anymore. We still got the whole band.
Well, I tell you what, all of us fans out there can't wait for the new Chip Trick record, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, that's more than we sold last year.
Well, I tell you what, guys, thank you so much for joining us here on this panel this afternoon here at the Gibson Experience. We're going to be hanging out, so please enjoy yourself at the Gibson Experience. Vivian Campbell, Rick Nielsen, give it up. Thank y'all so much for being here. We'll be right back with more stuff. Stick around. Enjoy yourself here at the Gibson Experience at NAMM 2019.